and subscribe. One like equals one prayer for the YouTube algorithm. Here's an outline of the topics covered in this video. If you would like to skip ahead to a certain section, feel free to click on any of the timestamps posted in the description. Also, at the end of this video, we're going to be discussing some tips and tricks, so be sure to watch until the very end. I'll give you 3 reasons why you need to learn Java. Besides being one of the top 3 most popular programming languages worldwide, Java is an extremely flexible language. It's used extensively by business enterprises, Android apps, games, and if you learn Java, you could land a job as a Java developer. According to Glassdoor, entry-level Java developers have an average starting salary of $70,000. That's nothing to sneeze at. So why not learn Java? Are you still here? Okay, cool. Let's begin with the basics. Computer languages are on a spectrum between being high-level and low-level. Computers only understand binary. It's referred to as machine code. It's a low-level format that a machine can understand. However, humans have difficulty reading binary since it's all ones and zeros. To create machine code, we write in a format called source code, which is understandable by humans, and compile to machine code. When we create Java source code, the file ends with a .java file extension. Think of compiling code as transforming source code to machine code. We do this because machines can't read source code and vice versa. Humans have trouble reading machine code unless you're a robot or an android or something. However, when we compile our source code to machine code, it's machine specific. If we write source code and compile on a Mac, we can only run that code on a Mac, and the same concept applies for PCs. Although the Java language has a solution for this problem, with Java we have an intermediary step where we can compile our source code to a format called bytecode. Bytecode is cross-platform and ends with a .class file extension. Here's an example of Java source code, and here's an example of that same source code after we compile it to bytecode. It's kind of funky, right? Since bytecode is cross-platform, you could write your code on a Mac and then send your bytecode file to your friend, who can then run it on their PC, using a JVM to translate the bytecode to machine code. But we are going to need the help of a JVM to translate bytecode to machine code. But where can we get a JVM? Well, it's included with a JDK. And what is a JDK? Well, JDK is an acronym for Java Development Kit. It contains developers' tools to help us code, as well as a JRE, a Java Runtime Environment, which contains a library, toolkits, and our JVM, which is another acronym for Java Virtual Machine, which translates bytecode for us to machine code. So all you need to worry about is downloading a JDK, and everything else will be included. And now that we know what a JDK is, it's time to download one. So open up the internet and go to any search engine and look this up. Java JDK for Windows. And you can wish it's in a format file as full, and then click finish. So this has the new file. This is the videos and linking enough during up to the main list public static void main. Then we need some parentheses, string, straight braces, args, and then a set of curly braces. And that is it. We now have a main method. And our program runs and compiles just fine. So any code within the main method will execute starting at the top and then work its way down. So with the main method, any code you place at the top will be executed first. So let's print something to the console window. In order to display some text, all you have to do is type this: system with a capital S dot out dot print. Then you need a set of parentheses and then a semicolon at the end. So within the parentheses of this print method, we can type some text to display to the console window, but we need to make sure that our text is within a set of double quotes, and we can display some text. Let's say, I don't know, what's a food you like? I love pizza. So if I were to run and compile this, it's now going to print I love pizza to the console window. Let's say that we would like to display another line of text directly underneath the first. We can accomplish that by using another print statement. So for convenience, I'm going to copy this first line, paste it directly underneath, and display some other text, such as, "It's really good." So when I compile and run this, pay attention. The output is one long line of text. The reason that this is all displaying as one long line of text is because after printing the first statement, our cursor does not move down to the next line. In order to do so, we could use a println statement, short for print line. It's as if we're hitting enter when we finish outputting our text. So let's try this again using a println statement. And now, each line of text is on its own individual line. So that's what distinguishes a print and print line statement. A print line will add a new line character as if you're hitting enter when you finish outputting your text, whereas a print statement does not. So that's the difference between the two. An alternative to using a print line statement is that we could stick with the standard print statement and at the end of our text add what is referred to as an escape sequence for a new character. Now, an escape sequence is a character preceded with a backslash and one of a few characters that follows directly afterwards. This is an escape sequence for a new line character. When we add this escape sequence for a new line, it's as if we're hitting enter wherever we place this escape sequence. So within our string of text for our first line, at the end we're going to add \n, and this will have the same effect as a print line statement. It's going to display our text and then move the cursor down to the next line. As you can see, there is no additional change to the output within the console window. Now what if we reverted our print statements back to print line statements and kept the additional escape sequence in for a new line character? Well, we're going to have an extra empty line of text because we're displaying our line of output plus an additional character for a new line, and then we're hitting enter at the end via the print line statement. So we're going to have an additional empty line between these two lines of text if we were to do that. So a few other escape sequences that you might be interested in include the following. A \t will add a tab. So let's precede our text with an escape sequence for a tab, which is \t. So this is if we're hitting tab before displaying our text, and we now have some empty space preceding our line of output. If you need to put something within quotes, let's try to do so normally. So our compiler is actually going to be confused because we cannot normally add a set of quotes because our text already needs to be surrounded with quotes. So if we need to literally display some quotes, some double quotes, we need to precede our double quotes with an escape sequence. So \, then quotes. So this will allow us to literally print some double quotes. So we're going to surround our first line of text with some double quotes now. And if you need to display a \, then you need to use double backslashes. Because if you use just one, your compiler thinks you're trying to use an escape sequence. And that's how to display a \. In summary, anything preceding with a \/ is the beginning of an escape sequence, and there's one of a multitude of characters that could follow afterwards. And depending on the character, this has special meaning for your compiler to do something specific. Now, anything that is following two /s is the beginning of a single line comment. I could write, "This is a comment," and this line of text is going to be ignored by the compiler, so there's going to be no change to this program with the additional comment. Anything that is a comment is ignored by the compiler, so it's useful if you need to leave yourself a note or for somebody else that's looking over your code. If you need a multi-line comment, that is a / followed by an asterisk. And anything up to an asterisk and another / will be anything that is a comment is ignored by the compiler. Write, so it's useful if you need to leave yourself. This is a comment. And all of this will also be ignored by the compiler. So that's how to write a multi-line comment, a / and an asterisk, and anything up to another asterisk and /. So those are comments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this section on tips and tricks. And for my first trick, I'm going to change the color scheme of my IDE. We're currently using the light theme, but I much prefer the dark theme. I'm going to be joining the dark side. So in order to change the color scheme of your IDE, go to, if you're using Eclipse, Window, Preferences, under the General tab, go to Appearance, Theme, and you can change the theme here. I will click Dark. I'm going to select Apply.